This is Senator Richard Blumenthal at TastieFish.com. How you doing, sir?
Good.
Just two quick questions. What's your reaction not only to the pardon, not only to the Transgender Military directive, but it all taking place while a Category 4 hurricane is ripping Texas apart? What is the president thinking about?
The president showed contempt for the rule of law and for human rights under the cover of Friday night darkness and a Category 4 hurricane to distract the American people from these really insidious actions. These actions betray American values as well as the rule of law. What he did was, in pardoning Joe Arpaio, give encouragement to the very forces that marched in Charlottesville and shouted racial and religious epithets, spewed hatred, because that's in effect what Joe Arpaio did under his law enforcement job. And so the President of the United States really demonstrated contempt for the rule of law and for American values, and doing it under cover of darkness at night in the midst of a major hurricane in Texas showed how little he cared and how little he respected the American people.
Now, you were watching the speech in Arizona, or maybe you saw it afterwards. There's a lot of concern in this country about bigotry, about where we're headed as a people, about division, fear. Did that speech in Arizona only exacerbate an already deteriorating situation?
The president has sent very mixed messages. He has divided the country and then sought to use unifying language. And what's most important is that we all, every one of us, condemn and denounce these forces of evil in our country and call them what they are. Hate groups like the white supremacists, the neo-Nazis, the white nationalists, the KKK, they are not fine people. There are no two sides to hatred and violence in this country. And every one of us can be a leader by standing up and speaking out. And I've called on the Department of Justice to prosecute the hate crime in Charlottesville as a civil rights conspiracy. Just like the KKK was prosecuted in the South when it lynched people, these groups should be forced to bear responsibility if there's evidence that they participated, encouraged, or aided and abetted that killing.
And there's one last question. He did pardon that sheriff yesterday. Do you have concern that he's kind of going through the motions with the pardon and that he could actually use it if Robert Mueller were to indict, were to convict, a Michael Flynn or a Paul Manafort? Do you see the president actually using a pardon in that situation?
I am deeply concerned about the intimidation and bullying that I see from the White House directed at the special counsel, attempts to draw red lines around financial dealings, calling it a witch hunt or a hoax, and that's why I've submitted legislation, it's bipartisan, to protect the special counsel against any firing that may occur, and I'm looking into what can be done to stop pardons that may result from the ongoing investigation and possible prosecution in connection with the Russian interference in our 2016 elections, or possible collusion by the Trump campaign in that interference, and potential obstruction of justice that occurred when Jim Comey was fired. There is real reason to fear for our democracy. I'm going to take action in the Senate wherever possible to protect our rights and liberties and the rule of law, because we are threatened as never before